12 Gauge Uncut is here.
Where's here?
We are at Moe's Barbecue, man, in Rome, Georgia, downtown. So some of you might recognize this ugly mug right here. This is Chris Gaines. Chris, you just recently came back to KLT. Well, I honestly come back. You've been in KLT for a long time, but you've just recently reunited and brought together one of the most formidable tag teams that North Georgia has ever seen in Gaines and Lightning.
Yeah, I mean, did you not hear that reaction I got there?
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the pops that will go down in history.
Hey, Zach Mosley's, when Zach Mosley returned, oh my God.
Yes.
I'm going to say that his sent chills down my arms.
Yeah.
What, 2 years since he's been in there?
Yeah, it's been a long time since, well before, I guess, Superstars of...
A couple weeks before, actually.
Yeah, it's a couple weeks before Superstars when he had some differences and that show didn't happen, so we lost one of the best performers in the South for that.
Yes.
Yeah. So, speaking of that, so we're moving on. So we brought you here to talk about, KLT's got some big shows lined up. We've got September 16th and then September the 30th, the Southern Showcase. There will not be another show that will compare to that this year in Rome, Georgia.
And I'll prove your point. So, that's for this week. Let's just start on a small, so we're actually, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not.
Just say it.
Okay, so we got a new belt.
Oh, sweet.
So it's called the Southern Heritage Championship. And I'll probably get in trouble for announcing it on your podcast and not my show, but so anything for the clicks.
That's right.
So
you heard it here first.
We got Kyle Matthews in it. And I don't know if you know this or not. You know who Todd Sexton is? Anarchy Rampage. He was actually one of Shawn Michaels' last trainees in Texas.
Nice.
So we got him. Then we got Jay Lucas, who's actually done AEW Dark.
Yes.
And then Dominic Stuckey. So that's only 4.
Yes.
But this Saturday, we have 2 qualifying matches.
Very nice.
It's for a returning Tim Possible, who he was back in the IXW days, the Dillard's days, and I was trying to think of all the other shows he's done, Jasper, Georgia, and he's I don't know if people actually read the post or not, but he actually just quit because of confidence. He was on that track. He was going to start going places. He started to be a firefighter too, and he decided, I think I'll be better off a firefighter than wrestling full time, and he didn't do it. But he's actually wrestling one of your favorites, Ryan Marks.
Ryan Marks, really?
And then the other qualifying match is Cody McHale, the Dean of Wrestling, versus a God, how did I forget his name? It's on the card. It's a Pro South guy. Christian Garrett. How the heck can I forget?
Christian Garrett, yes, I know Christian actually. So me and Christian have worked several cards together before. Never actually faced each other, but we have worked cards together before.
I don't think I've ever wrestled him, but I've actually watched his work or whatever, and I'm like, he needs to be going to all those shows. He has all the potential to run. I just wish he would travel more and get his name out more than he does now. Because, he's a namesake at a Pro South. He's core to them and everything. There's so many good shows in Georgia. I just wish he would go to them and show what he's really made of.
Yeah. Well, Christian is a great guy, and I don't know, we say stuff we get in trouble for all the time here. I think right now, and I understand that he's kind of focused, family focused. I think he's got a new one on the way yet again. So I think he has a few children at the moment. So,
but it's pro wrestling, man.
It is pro wrestling. So,
how many people put their pro wrestling over their family?
Well,
no, I really wouldn't. I would not. No, you can't. See, that's the same thing. Tim had a family, so he quit, right? Christian. Yeah. He still does closure shows, so his family right now. You got to respect that. But for selfish reasons, I wish he would go to all the good shows in Georgia.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's me being selfish.
Yeah. So Let's talk about, man, you came back, and when you've hit the ring here recently, I saw a new spark that I haven't saw in a while. I mean, not to say that you're not a great wrestler, you've always been a great wrestler, but the moves that you've been pulling out of your repertoire, so to speak.
You know, I haven't done those moves till about 40 pounds ago, and 40 pounds later, apparently I could still do it. I'm, 5 years older, I guess? Because, man, we've been, you say, the wrong side of the crowd the past couple years, and that was fun and all, but you see the reaction Lightning was getting, and then it was 2-on-1, you're like, kind of really for selfish reason too, I wanted that reaction, and they're beating up your best friend, so, you know, you're like, you got to go help them, and man, that reaction, like, at the end, I think I thanked the fans and told them that was awesome, and could have got in trouble for that probably, because I didn't get, you know, talk on the mic, okay, but I didn't care, I just wanted them to know I appreciated that reaction, because what I've been on the opposite, KLT was since I started, right?
Yeah.
We were the longest running tag team champions, and the Proof decides they don't ever want to show up and defend them, so maybe if we got back together, we could really bring the belts back home.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and for those who don't know, I don't think, unless me and you never crossed paths in the ring either, except once. We crossed paths in the first Rumble, the Battle Royal I went to for the Shriners.
Oh,
so,
yes.
Yeah, so.
Oh, man, I forgot about that. I did a Battle Royal the first time, the second time for that show, I wrestled a clown.
Yes,
which was
that's true.
Really
wrestling the clown.
Josh Hay dressed up, so that wasn't fair, but
yeah.
That's a great cause. I think they're trying to do it again, but like once a year they could do it, and that's a great cause too. So, I mean, let's be honest, none of the wrestlers get paid for it, but none of us cared. We all knew.
We all had fun. We loved it.
Yeah, for a good cause like that, who cares? Like, we know it's a good cause. We see the Shriners out there. We know Josh is part of the Shriners, so it's like, why wouldn't we help a buddy? Why wouldn't we help a charity? And you know, a lot of shows do charity shows, and you don't really know where the money's going.
Mm-hmm.
We know where it's going. We see the people. They're honest about how much money's going to the Shriners, and 8-10 of them come up there. They have fun, and I have fun. The crowd's hot, and it's just good. It's no pressure show. It's go out there and have fun. Do it for a good cause.
Yeah, absolutely. So big shout out to Josh and Waylon for that, and I'm sure there's other names that I'm going to pick Ricky for allowing us to have them to use that.
I just said, let's thank Ricky for KLT.
Yeah, absolutely. Ricky Wiggins, everybody. He's responsible. Hell, he's even responsible for me sitting right here from you and having this podcast because, you know, without Ricky opening the door, there wouldn't have been a Rocky show.
Yeah.
I mean, so
I'd probably not be wrestling right now. Like, I was done wrestling, really. I just had no desire. And your best friend, Kamikaze, hit me up and he said, hey, you want to come? Or it could have been Aubrey. He was like, hey, you want to come wrestle in Rome? I'm like, not really. And I'm like, me and Lightning both were like, you know, we did it for, 18 years, 19 years? And I'm like, it doesn't really matter. He has a family now, kids, and I was just whatever about it. And then when came that first show, I was like, just don't have fun again. And then went for KT, I'd probably be fat somewhere.
Yeah. Speaking of Chris Kamikaze, you know, the best part about it would be if I could kick him in the face.
That 12 gauge?
That 12 gauge, right in the face. I bet I can fix all his attitude problems and his crybaby right there in one shot.
But what if your name ended up on that chair?
There is a good possibility that he's planning on putting my name on that chair, and he probably has been for a while. So the best thing I know about Chris in that chair right now is I'm not dumb enough to turn my back to him with that chair in his hand.
Hey, I don't know if you paid attention last time. Neither was Lamar Phillips, and he got that's crazy about Kamikaze. He switched sides or whatever, but he don't care what side you're on as long as it's for the belt. Lamar, Zach Mosley, Zero, everybody. He don't care who you are. He's putting you on that list, and I'm like, thank God I'm not on that list.
Yeah, he is definitely a man on a mission driven for that belt, and it seems like this time, you know, it's something that he's taking. You know, no matter what shortcut he has to take or anything else, he's going to take it to get to that belt.
And hey, let's talk about the first triple threat ladder match in Rome, Georgia since the IXW days. Yeah. Chris Kamikaze, Zach Mosley, and Lamar Phillips. So apparently what he's doing is working.
Yes, absolutely. And the level of competition that you're talking here.
We just started talking about the scramble, talked about other things. I will go back to that thing.
We did. They're used to this because when you take wrestlers and make us podcasters, that's about what you get.
You get backstory, side stories, Shriners show, and then now Kamikaze. Now back to the ladder match.
Yes. We'll talk about when we were 8 years old before we're done. But,
that's fine.
You know.
And I mean, that's going to be, you got to think about it. Those three, you got Lamar Field, who's a hard hitter, Kamikaze, who can do all the flying, Zach Mosley, probably has the most charisma of anyone at KLT. All three, I'm pretty sure in the main event of the big show.
Yes, absolutely. That being said, guys, give us some feedback. I know you've got to be excited about this. So I want to tell you, just to pause for a moment and talk to you and tell you. So the way we're able to do shows like this, I want you to take time, subscribe to the show, follow us on Facebook, give us some comments. We're working on a free t-shirt that you get. You can be wearing the 12 gauge t-shirt. All you got to do is subscribe to one of the channels. There's going to be links available there. So Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and just leave me a comment. Say I signed up. That's all I need to know, and then I'll take your name and draw it. Once the appropriate time, when you have the right amount of people in there, we will make that post. And we are also doing 2 different competitions. We are going to be drawing today. Not yet, but we will be drawing
That's
today.
where you hook them. Why would I have to listen to me talk for like 45 minutes, right?
Exactly, right. So you got to listen to this guy first. So then we will draw your name for the 2 free tickets for KLT for this show and the next show. I've got to we're going to spoil this. The next show, we're going to do a free giveaway tickets too and similar.
We haven't cared if we're going to get in trouble, have we? Yeah.
I mean, we've already talked about a belt that we were supposed to talk about.
The Southern Heritage Champion, that's going to be the new champion on September 30th, that belt?
That's right.
Yeah, dude, I mean, I'm shocked by the response we got. We had right at 70 shares and 89, 90 comments on it. I just posted it Saturday. I'm like, I'm just shocked that the KLT fans pay attention and are invested in the product that much.
Well, you know what it is, right? Did you know? Like, 12 Gauge Uncut is the hottest podcast in North Georgia.
It's the only one in North Georgia.
Yes. There is no one that can come close to the numbers that we're getting right now.
I bet you Chris Gans could get close to those numbers.
Oh.
You guys you're going down.
You mean the other side?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
We'll go with that, yeah. So I'd say you have spoken on that.
Jesus. Rocky, I am not getting into that. I'm just going to smile and nod. Let the heat fall on you.
And
you are a heat magnet.
I am a heat magnet. Me and Skrilla actually talked not too long ago, and
it's in the archives of your YouTube, right?
Yes, actually it is. It is my YouTube archives, and he even believes that I am closing in on his most controversial person in the indie wrestling scene.
Skrilla's controversial?
Well, at one time he was, or at least they thought he was. So
who's they?
Yeah, those people.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's been one of the nicest people in the world.
I absolutely agree. He's one of the favorites of mine. So, excellent. Most decorated champion in North Georgia.
Isn't he the new Deep South champion?
He is the new Deep South. I got to witness history with him. He is now the first champion since 2007, which Xavier Woods or Apollo Creed had that at that time. Then Miz before that.
That's right. I wrestled for Deep South a bunch. It was actually the week after they lost their territorial deal with WWE.
Yeah.
But hey, I can still say I wrestled Deep South. I don't have to add that,
Yeah.
And actually, Rick Michaels and Simon Sermon helped me get on there.
Yeah. It was an amazing show. So Eric Adams, big shout out to you for that. Well done. So I guess as we're spinning all over the place here, and that's okay. I hope you guys are enjoying everything. So let's back up just a little bit so that we do get some history on Chris Gaines. Tell me why you started wrestling and where it all began for you.
Do you want the long version or the short version?
Whichever one you're going to give me.
So when I was actually she came to the shows. My sister's best friend when we first moved from Georgia, Amy Adams. It's not that anymore, but I don't care. She's still Amy Adams to me. She went to Dillard's Music Park in Rome and then invited my sister. This time I was like 13 and sit in front row, fat with glasses and everything. And you could actually go on YouTube and you could see me in the front row, and it's just so weird. And then like I never yelled at the wrestlers. I just loved watching wrestling. And then the owner said, "Hey, you want a free ticket?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "All you gotta do is play the music." I'm like, "Sure." So I started playing the music, and then got buddies with Lamar Phillips, and he was probably 19 at the time, and we just became friends. And then he's like, "Hey, do you want to train to wrestle?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he got me a little side job with him doing straw. The first ever bump I took was on some straw in some farm in the Fed for some stupid reason. And then, I started going to Dillard's every Saturday. And my mom actually didn't know I wrestled. My nephew came, and he was 2 years old, and came and watched me, whatever. I know, once again, ADD, going to sidetrack, but when I was living with my parents or whatever, he came back order. My dad was watching SmackDown. So my 2-year-old nephew could barely even talk, would look at the wrestling like, Chris. And I got home and my parents were like, "Are you wrestling?" I was like, "Nope." And I kept on walking. A little 2-year-old ratted me out, and then my parents proceeded to call and cuss Lamar Phillips out. But they really, they actually came and watched me. It was one of my favorite matches when I first started. And people who actually helped me a lot too was Tyler Smith and Bobby Moore. They were the regular guys. And the first match they came and watched me wrestle was in Cedartown, Georgia. JJ Grizzly ran that show. It was probably 400 or 500 people. And dove off the top rope, did some cool little stuff. And my mom's first time watching me wrestle was scared the whole time. It was actually really funny. But that's two people that don't get enough credit in the wrestling, is Bobby Moore and Tyler Smith. So I'm going to backtrack, then go back to that. So I trained with Lamar, started reffing because the building shut down. I wasn't finished. And then they just put me in a mask one day and said, "Okay, go job to Bobby Hayes." Like, who's going to say no to that?
Yeah, absolutely not.
And El Gato de Negro, Black Cat in Spanish. And had that or whatever, and then started just wrestling a little bit, but mainly, just reffing most of the time. And Tyler Smith one day put me in an armbar and I reversed it. And he said, "You know how to wrestle?" I'm like, I try, just know a little bit. So then somehow, that's how that match in Cedartown happened. He knew I could wrestle, and I trusted he'd make me look good. So hey, that was my first match my parents ever came and watched me wrestle.
That's pretty cool. So going back, kind of piggybacking off for just a second, is Tyler, Lamar, and Bobby all played a role in my training as well. Not a huge. I mean, Bobby, yes, Bobby more than the other two.
Bobby, if you're watching, comment to say if you take credit for that. It's funny, there's so many different people that help in so many different ways. Like Rick and Simon, I give them credit too. They were the ones that taught me how to walk and talk and just listen. They don't really call anything or whatever. It's walk and talk and just listen. And Rick was beating me up one day, and I'm kind of standing up, and he's like, "Fall down," because he was grabbing me by the hair or whatever, and just learning just on the fly stuff like that. And Cedartown, there used to be 12 to 1,500 people there every show. Cedartown was great, and we had a match or whatever, and with 1,200 people, a certain move didn't get a reaction. I was like, "Is that okay?" And he said, "Well, did you hear the crowd?" I was like, "No." And then Rick was like, "Yeah, because we'll never do it again." I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "When there's such a big crowd, you don't have to know if something's good or not. If they don't react, it's horrible." Yeah. I'm like, "Well, that makes sense." I don't even remember what it was. But I was like, "Guess we'll never do that again." And I never did. And I already forgot what it was. Yeah. Simon the same way. I was like, "Hey, what do I need to work on?" He's like, "Everything." I was kind of offended at first. And then he's like, "No, I mean, you're new. You could do you could be so good at everything, but you're not because you're new." I'm like, "Well, that makes sense." He said, "So don't ever get an ego. Just always try to get better." And then the last two who helped a lot, Kyle Matthews and Angel Alexander, the Hollywood brunettes. Do you remember those people?
I do know Kyle, but all the others I do not.
Angel Alexander, he was a Dillard's guy too, so I remember watching him. And it's just weird. I wrestled Rick and Simon on there, then Tyler and Bobby took me. And then they all watched those matches with Tyler and Bobby. So and Andy and Kyle were like, hey, let us come beat you up for a while. So then I traveled with Andy and Kyle, and that's like a whole new like psychology to me, whole new format, whole new everything. And like you grow up watching Kyle, you grow up watching Andy. Like I remember watching Andy Abdullah do a springboard front flip. We can't do that now, but like just watching that and it sticks in my head. And then now I'm wrestling him, and I'm like, that's crazy. And like ADD too, Kamikaze's first time back in 15 years. I remember watching him at Dillage Music Park. And then I had the honor to be his first match when he came back. Same thing with Tyler Smith. He took 15, 20 years off. I was his first match back in 15, 20 years. It's like, well, they spent all that time making me look better than I was. I promise you that. And now it's my turn to deliver. And so I try not to show it, but I was so nervous wrestling Tyler just because all those times he made me look way better. And then it was my turn to deliver. And I think I did, but like, I don't know. It's like I put pressure on myself just because he hasn't done it in 15 years.
Yeah, and I get that from a wrestler's point of view. Dude, when I was in Boaz at ACW with Mickey Henry, I got to tag with Zero, and me and Zero have known each other since him, Skrilla, you guys, all about the same time.
Yeah,
and it was kind of a cool thing. I'd always wanted to wrestle him, but to have him as a tag team partner was still just as cool.
Oh no, it is.
So I'm in there and we're popping off moves and tag, and I'm in my head trying to keep from barking out because because we're hitting we hit this one spot where we both hit super kicks at the same time, and the crowd just went wild. So I get that, like being in there with someone that you really admire, to actually be in there with them to work with them at that point in time.
I think the highest mark out was like 2 times I tagged with Ricky Morton once, and we did a double drop kick as a finish. I'm like, I just did a double drop kick with Ricky Morton. Like, I guess everybody in the South can kind of say that now, but I'm like, that's pretty awesome. And then I wrestled, it was me and, not Bobby Eaton. It was me and either way, it was Bobby Eaton, Air Paris. And so I was kind of nervous watching Air Paris. He was in WCW back in the day, right? And AJ Styles' former partner. And it was me. Who was my partner? Could have been Ricky Morton, too. I don't remember. And wrestled, had the match or whatever. It was fun, whatever. And then fast forward 2 months later, I'm walking in the bathroom. Bobby Eaton's we're walking out. He throws his fist up. You going to beat me up again, kid? I'm like, Bobby Eaton remembered who I was. Like, who am I? And then Bobby Eaton, 2 months later, remembered wrestling. He probably didn't know my name, which whatever, but he remembered me. I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Did he hit you with that left hand?
Probably, more than likely.
Yeah, I was going to say. That left hand of his was legendary in the business.
I'm trying to think. I don't even remember much of that. I just remember being
Maybe
nervous.
he hit you that hard.
Touche.
So, well, now let's look at the future. KLT is moving in the Southern Chicks. We're going to add in. We have a heavyweight title. Then we have the Southern Heritage Championship. Is that? Make sure I'm pronouncing everything right.
I think it's a Southern Heritage.
Okay.
If not, they'll fix it at the show.
Okay. So we've got that, and we have tag team titles.
You know what kind of match?
What kind of match?
War Games.
War Games. That's right. War Games.
It's me. Like, I should say me first, proper English. So it's Josh Haight, Scotty, the Southern Express, Chris Lightning, and me against all 4 members of the Proved in a steel cage match.
Man.
And I'm kind of nervous, but I think I've only had 1 or 2 cage matches, and then you're going against Georgia Wrestler of the Year, Nick Halen, right? You're going with Bobby Moore, who's taught you a lot. You're going against Adrian Hawkins, who you watched wrestle Austin Creed in the Indies in Waleska, Georgia. Yeah. And like, he's awesome. And then I think the other one I didn't say was Bobby. And hey, that's just someone you wrestled all the time, so you don't want to crap the bed when you're in the ring with him.
Yeah, and we're not to mention War Games, man. This is going to set a precedent.
Are we allowed to say War Games, or are we supposed to say War Game style?
We're going to say War Games.
Okay.
So I don't really care. They can call you later and email me. So controversy creates cash. So It hit me up, Eric Bischoff.
Jesus Christ.
So, that being said, though, is there any promotion that you know of in our area right now that has all the titles encompassed there? That you've got 3 different title classes right now.
And all specialty matches.
And specialty matches, right?
I wish I could name that show we did last year. And man, Larry Goodman came, put it over and all that. And it was really cool. We did a big show last year. Amazing crowd. Our goal is to top that this year. And the match we didn't mention earlier, Akuta Death Society, Chris Crunk and Kevin Ryan.
Yeah.
And then against the Washington Bullets. Like, that's another backstory we have with the Washington Bullets, who me and Lightning will be wrestling September 16th. Because we just, God, we're everywhere. So back in the day, all those people took me places, right? Well, we started going to Platinum Championship Wrestling. We wrestled the Bullets, and oh my God, they can go. Like, they have all this cool, fancy stuff, and we could take it all and all that. It was pretty cool, and kind of not do this cool, fancy stuff like them. We just, man, those matches were exciting and fun to me.
Yeah.
Some people just like holding an armbar for 15 minutes and doing a pinfall. I don't like that. They could, they can go. I was like, hey, come wrestle us in Cedartown. So we got them to Cedartown. Then we I hate to say took because they didn't need our help at all.
Yeah.
But we're like, hey, we're having fun wrestling these guys. Let's go to Stan's show in Butt Cannon. And then West Georgia Championship Wrestling, I think. Like, hey, we're having fun. There's all these shows we do with them. And like, it's weird. And then they do Ring of Honor. And then, like, so they've done cool things. And then Trey or his brother, one of them wrote a post or whatever and kind of thanked us at the bottom and saying, like, 'cause he said a cuss word in the middle of the match. I'm like, hey, you don't have to cuss. I mean, there's kids here. And he said, okay. And he said he remembers that to this day. He's like, so all the times we've done it, I was like, who am I? You remember me saying that 15 years ago? Like, so, like, I think the Kuda Death Society and Washington Bullets has potential to be match of the night because you got 2 teams who don't do your traditional Southern wrestling. They can go.
Yes.
And they got all this cool
Kevin
stuff.
Ryan can go.
Yes.
For sure.
Do you know? Yeah, you know.
I saw Chris Crunk. I saw them wrestle. I don't know him personally. Like, we kind of think we've maybe passed words online before, but I know Kevin
too.
Yeah, I know Kevin. So either we will get along really well or not at all.
Well, since you're a heat magnet and Crunk's a heat magnet, that means, oh God. Let's save it for the. No,
let's just save it for the show.
No, I like Chris Crunk. I make fun of him. Like, we'll just sit in the locker room and just make fun of each other, make fun of ourselves. He has a manager named Joey, I think. Oh my, dude, that guy.
Thought you were gonna go, oh my God.
Not that. I don't know. Like, he's just hilarious and like he like just makes fun of himself and others. But like, if you make fun of him back, he doesn't get upset like everybody. Like, he knows wrestling, and it's just hilarious. You just shoot the crap, and nobody gets offended. No one gets mad. You know what wrestling is, and you just have fun.
Yeah. Man, people getting offended at wrestling. Does that even happen?
So let's have that talk. Like, how? I don't get it. Like, that's why I stay away from social media.
Right.
Because, like, if you're, 45, 46, and you don't know about wrestling, haven't had that talk about wrestling, probably haven't had that talk about Santa Claus and all that. Like, you got to think some of these thoughts people have, I don't want to think they're not that smart about it. I want to think they're just playing to their character and trying to build themselves up. But I don't know. And that's kind of thing about wrestling is like, I'm in it, but is he or she really that dumb about the business? Or are they just trying to play the game and put themselves over? And I get that.
I don't know. I mean, you would think maybe they put themselves on every poster and everything else too, so.
Being part of the comedian KLT, I try not to put myself on the flyer.
Yeah.
Because people are like, oh, he's part of the booking committee, right?
Yeah.
Which is all Chris Lightning. So if you want any KLT bookings, hit up Chris Lightning on Facebook, not me.
Yeah. Tell him you want on the poster too.
And oh God, that too. So many people have hit us up about why they're not on the poster. We had a poster maker, and we just told him at the car and told him to do his thing.
Yeah.
It's not my fault you're not on it. I've never cared if I was on the fly. You kind of want it because it's your brand to show you're on it, right?
Yeah.
They're promoting you. Like, if you're the heavyweight champion and you're not on it, that's a problem. Or any champ, I should say. But
Correct.
Like if you're a mid-card match, opening match, or whatever, I get you want to be promoted on that show. It's a good show. You want to show you're at the show so you can promote each other. I get that. But it's not like a deal breaker. It's not like going to hurt my feelings. You don't put me on the flyer. Like,
You know what I've always thought was cool? You know when the fans pretty much dictate who goes on that poster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, why shouldn't it be their choice? So the champion should be there. That's who you're coming to see. I mean,
And that's why Zach Mosley's on the flyer. That's why
Yeah.
Tim Possible's on the flyer. That's why Lamar's on the flyer. Lamar's a champ. Like, super over. Tim Possible, just wait till that reaction he gets. I'm looking forward to that. And Zach Mosley, we all heard that reaction he got. Why would you not put them on the flyer? I'm not on it.
yeah,
But then again, I didn't have a match. And then I just dude, like, share, and comment. I'm genius for thinking about that idea.
yeah, absolutely.
And doing it on your podcast. But like, and then I just see people share. I see people like, it's like, you know what? We're promoting like crazy. I want to wrestle. Because really, me and Lightning had a tag match. Just the two of us, right? Because he got beat up by the school. I came in and saved him. And then we had a 8-man with the school.
Mm-hmm.
And so we haven't really seen if we still got that chemistry. Like, the finish of our match with the school was awesome, great, but like, we're wrestling approved. So that's why I hit up the Bullets. I'm like, hey man, let's just have fun for old time's sakes. And it's not traditional KLT wrestling. We have good guy, bad guy. It's two good tag teams going against each other. So we're gonna have to be on our game. So like, I don't say test run because that's putting like, they're better than us, right? So it's the approved, right?
Yeah.
So if we can win over the Bullets, that's going to give us momentum. Like, hey, we can still do this, and really, so we don't get blown up.
Yeah.
And then that leads into the cage match, the 30th, and with momentum. And people are like, oh, it's wrestling. No, it legit is. Like, it's a mental thing. Like, if we go in there and crap the bread with the Bullets, how is our confidence going to be into thing? Like, you can say what you want about wrestling, but it's true. Like, confidence helps so much with the show, the performance, and everything. So if we still have it this Saturday, why couldn't we still have it the 30th?
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned blowing up, and that's so true because your cardio can make a coward out of anyone.
Learned that the hard way.
Yeah, right.
And like the Bullets, like we were just talking, they haven't changed, and they could like, I know they're not going to get blown up at all. Yeah. So we better be on our game Saturday, or we're going to blow up and really throw the match.
Yeah. So you and Lightning right now, because y'all, you're about how old at this point in time in your career?
35.
35. So the Bullets, do we know how?
I think they're slightly older, maybe 37, maybe 35 too. I'm trying to think, but okay. I think in general they're about the same age.
Okay, so you're about the same age, so it's just experience that's going to make, and y'all are really close to that probably at this level.
Yeah, I want to say, but like I said, they've done Ring of Honors. He's done all these seminars. Like, they're great. Like, so that means me and Lightning are going to have to step our game up. Because, like, if they were still doing it full time, there's no doubt in my mind, like, where happens that match, they'll probably get the best of us. But they've been kind of slacking too on their bookings. So I think that could help us too, because I've been wrestling, I don't say nonstop, but for 2 years now, 2.5 years now, I've been at KLT pretty much every single show.
Yeah. And ring shape makes it a big difference. It does. You've been out of it for a while, and I don't even know if I slid back in the ring, tomorrow, I'd be terrified to see how quickly I would blow up.
I'm gonna guess walking to the ring.
Probably. And so there's a good chance of that. So I never counted myself as great cardio or even the greatest wrestler. But
many people would agree.
They do. Many people do agree with that. So because we used to be people, and I take nothing away from Chris Kamikaze. They talk about him being a great technical wrestler. But I only needed 1 second for him to mess up, put that 12 gauge on him, and then that's all there is anyway.
I think you're trying to like book yourself into a match right here. But if
maybe eventually, one day, we're going to get to that. Kamikaze and me are going to face off.
Well, if you want, hit up Chris Lightning.
Yes, the booker KLT.
Yes, don't hit up me
Okay.
Because I'll ignore you.
Okay, you'll ignore me, and he'll put me on the poster, right?
I don't get it. Like, we've talked about that before. You're not the best wrestler. You're not the best talker. But those fans, for some reason, love you, and I don't know why, and I'm trying to figure out why, like the reactions and all this and stuff, and they are always at your gimmick table taking pictures, asking questions. What, you have 1,500 people watching your YouTube until today, and it's gonna get lower. But like, why do they love Rocky Shaw? I know this is about me, but let's talk about Rocky Shaw for a minute.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm never great about talking about Rocky Shaw, but it's really, there's nothing I do that I'm lucky. I mean, I'm just a man, but they are so much to these fans as far as we connect to each other on a different level. And I think they know that, you know, I went through some of the same struggles. I was that little kid in the front row that, you know, had a shitty life because his parents didn't, you know, they were doing other things besides raising him, you know, and sadly to speak. And, you know, wrestling was the thing that changed my life to make me somewhere between me turning out to be one of those kids that were into drugs every day, instead of me working my ass off in the ring and other athletics at that point.
See, that's weird because I'm the exact opposite, right? Both my parents are still together. I lived with them until I was 25, probably. Like, not spoiled per se, but like, because I've always worked since I was 15. But like, that's, I think, what kept me off that stuff. I mean, I don't know what Chris Lightning wants me to talk about, but kind of, I wouldn't say the same lifestyle you, but like, if he wasn't wrestling, there's no doubt about it, he would have been on the wrong path. And he has his head on shoulder doing all the right things, raising a family, right? And like, it's weird how people, like, what John Moxley talks about that stuff too, right? Like, your upkeep, and like, I've had the exact opposite, but I think wrestling has kept me on that path because you can't do it if you're drunk, high all the time or whatever. Like, you could have easily gotten to that style, right? But instead you're training to wrestle, make yourself better.
Yeah.
And I think, it don't even wrestling, like, do a sport, have a hobby, do something, because if you don't have a hobby or doing something, you have that time to think about your life. And you have time to do this, and then that's going to bring you to a depression. That's going to bring you a place you want to be, and then maybe alcohol, maybe this, maybe that. Like, doesn't always happen, but if you keep your mind going, you don't have time to think about that.
Yeah. You know, as somebody coming from Challenger, people are always surprised because they ask me, they're like, have you ever done drugs? Even my kids were surprised this. I'm like, no, I've never even smoked marijuana.
Have you ever been drunk?
I have, yes, I have been drunk before, much later in life. So, but
people don't believe me. I'm like, I've never been drunk, I've never been high. They don't believe me, but I'm like, I could find something better to lie to about than drinking and drugs. Like, I just don't care. Like, I see what it does. Like, that's their life, not mine. So it's like, I'm going to mind my business and not do it.
Yeah. So I will preface, I guess everybody's level of drunk is different. I've never been drunk where I didn't know what I was doing. So I can't never say, I didn't know I did that. I've never went to that level, so I've never understood when people say, well, I woke up with her, but I didn't know how I got there. Never been there. Yeah. Never been there. So, well, I guess kind of, we've covered a lot here.
You were late. Oh man, it's almost been an hour because you were late.
Yeah.
You said 4:30. You got here like at 4:35. It's 5:35 now, so about 50 minutes, right?
He's calling me out on video about being late.
Hey, at least I showed up. Let's break that wall a little bit. You had two other guests that canceled and flaked out on you.
That's true.
And me, who hates it. Right, I don't know if that one was 100% confirmed, but I'm going to throw him on the bus anyway, just because he didn't respond to my text. What were we talking about? I showed up. Yeah. I hate talking to a camera. I hate talking to Rocky Shaw all the time. And here I am doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations.
And really, I want to put over September 16th at the KLT Arena and September 30th at the KLT Arena.
Yes, absolutely.
And you'll have a table there and a booth set up, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, there we go.
I will. So, with that being said,
the draw.
Let's draw. So,
not gonna lie, let's make another wall. We forgot about it.
So let's pass that name to me. Ooh.
Do I need to tag her on the Facebook?
You can tag her on the Facebook, though. We can do that, but this isn't live, so you can wait and I can do it when this.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, because right now it might be a surprise, and we don't know if she's watching it.
Oh, so if I tag her, she'll just stop watching the first 30 seconds.
She's got to watch this first.
Okay. So about 8 o'clock, you'll announce.
Is the anticipation killing you? All right. So we'll get a drum roll. And the winner is Jennifer Holt.
And so all you got to do is go up to the. Oh man, so ADD again. We can't forget about this. James Rose passed away.
Yes.
And so this Saturday, actually, we're doing a fundraiser for all his funeral stuff. Jennifer, I'm going to butcher her last name, so I'm going to say Jennifer. She's baked. Oh my God. Have you ever had Jennifer's bacon?
Yeah, not her bacon.
Her cooking?
You mean her cooking, her baking skills. Not baking like her pork bacon.
Correct. So have you had her sweets?
I have had her sweets. Yes, I have. And that sounds completely wrong. So
how was I supposed to word this? So, so at 9 o'clock, I think we're doing a bake sale, and all the proceeds go to James Rose's funeral costs and all that. And she will have goodies for. Can you say goodies? Is that fine?
I think so.
She'll have goodies all night. Like she runs out. But I hope she has enough for the shows. Oh, honestly, I could get some.
Yeah.
I'll be like, hey, I'm promoting. No, I'll pay for it. I don't care. But like, I think that, like, we're talking about shares on Facebook. We posted about that, and it had like 75 shares the first day. Oh yeah, Faith Wall again. Desserts would be the correct word.
Desserts. All right. Yes. So we have people behind the scenes in the camera. See, 12 Gauge has a crew, and if you haven't, you see the picture. We actually have a gun club. Back there. Well, we will try to get him in it, but he doesn't seem to play well with others at times. So
if you're 12 Gauge, what is the helper's name?
Well, I don't know if we're breaking the fourth wall, if we can bring them into it right now, because they might be involved in, Golden Girl skits and stuff. So I don't know.
No, he no show today.
Oh yeah, the head Golden Girl didn't show today.
Did we finish talking about James Rose fundraiser? Anyway, there will be some desserts at the. I seen people comment what she's bringing, and I think everyone's sad she's not bringing banana pudding. I'm almost pretty sure I've seen that. She said she wasn't doing it, so that's disappointing for me too. But she wants to make banana pudding. I'll gladly eat a lot of it. I think she's having apple stuff, apple crisp or something, and so that's another thing to look for the 16th.
Yes, and for those of you on the podcast, you're going to get a little surprise. Heads up, we are going to, as we typically do, we will be doing a 10-bell salute for James Rose. So if you are a part of the family, friends, or just another worker, please get your ticket, come there, show the family that support.
Even if you don't have the money for a ticket, just go buy some. I think it's $5 for a plate. It's a good portion or whatever. If you can't afford to come to wrestling or you have plans on it, just come out early and support James and his family.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, tell us the dates again. So
September 16th, which like I said, Lamar Phillips, Zach Mosley. The school will be action with Ryan and Cody, Christian Garrett, Tim Possible. How you feel about Tim Possible? Then Mean Lightning against the Washington Bullets.
He was a ball boy.
Speaking of your friends, how can I forget Big Andy?
Big Andy.
He's big, and his name's Andy.
He is. He makes the world's largest orangutan in captivity.
And he texted me that about the flyer, and I was like, "Can we put that on a flyer?" Like, I'm not sure, but he says it, not me. He's going against Eddie Honcha, he was trained by Michael Stevens, who still doesn't hit me back about coming to our show, but Michael Stevens has done a lot of extra stuff for all the big companies, and he trained them. And dude, Eddie Honcho is entertaining. He might not be the best wrestler, but he's one of the most entertaining wrestlers.
Dude, instead of a match, we should have done a buffet competition between the two.
Should have done it with me. I love a good buffet.
Yeah.
Or we get Jennifer's desserts and line out who could eat the fastest in like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And then, so that's the 16th and the 30th. I don't even know where to start. Let's just start at Kudo Death Society and the Washington Bullets. We'll start with, the second would be the War Games match, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the 6-man scramble, which we got 2 people left to qualify this Saturday. And after that will be a 6-man scramble for the new Southern Heritage Championship I'm not allowed to talk about. And then did I talk about the main event yet? No, I didn't. Well, we have like 10 times, which would be the first ladder match in Rome, Georgia in like 6 years, which would be Lamar Phillips, Zach Mosley, and that Chris Kamikaze guy.
Yes. So,
And like I said, listen to Rocky's podcast because we're going to be, for the 30th, actually, we're going to do 2 giveaways, different ways to win tickets. So there'll be 4 tickets total we're giving away. And we'll announce them after the 16th. We'll announce the first giveaway, which you would have to listen to Rocky Shaw's podcast. And then we're going to announce the other one the following, after that Tuesday. That would make the most sense.
yeah.
And we haven't worked out the details. And then you could have a chance to win 2 more free tickets for the 30th. So that should be good.
Yep, absolutely. Beware the 12 gauge.
Gotta do a pose, right?